But a couple of things I learned along the way, right? See, this is absolutely not a magic bullet, right? But it will cut your time to get to a good first draft by 70%, 60 to 70%, right? Now, I think 2 days back there was this memo by the Shopify CEO about using AI in the internal company, right? And he said one thing which I resonate with. It is that people try out AI. If they don't get something in the first try or maybe second try, they give up. So in these working sessions, I usually the way things happen is that the first 30 minutes nothing is happening. I'm just creating the source file. I'm just trying to, set the tabular format. I'm just trying to look at the first version. And then the last 30 minutes, everything becomes magical.
Welcome to the Culture of Writing podcast, where writers, editors, and content strategists from Salesforce talk about how we work together to improve our craft and make content better. Samarth joins us again with a really cool application on converting help text. We call help is our external documentation at Salesforce, help to video.
Yeah, thank you, Stan. Thanks for having me again. And yeah, I think we've been doing this fun stuff. So I work in this. So Salesforce is a huge company, as you know, and I work in this area of Salesforce called Commerce Cloud, right? Which is very interesting area, and Salesforce has been a Gartner leader in the commerce space for many years now. So it's a very interesting space. So in Commerce Cloud, we wanted to do a few videos, right, on some interesting use cases where we could empower customers and also sort of, some use cases which are hard to explain just in text, right? So we do have text, help around that, but we thought having value-added video content would really make sense for these topics. So what we've done over the past so we use writer.ai, which is our internal Gen AI tool that we use within CX, content experience at Salesforce. So we've tried it for 4 different use cases in the past quarter or so, and 3 of the use cases are in a really advanced stage, and 2 videos are already live. So 2 videos are live, and a third one is just in the process of being made by the production team. It's like right in the last throes of being in production, and then there's another use case that we are somehow starting. So that's where our experiment is here.
Quick question. So you're using writer.ai. Can you just give just a quick overview on how you're using it? Is it using it to create the first draft, to smooth things out?
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it and more. So what you see here on the screen is writer.ai, and we have the Salesforce content experience space within that, right? So that's where we generally work day in and day out, writers and managers within CX. And if you see, there's a help article video script app here within this entire space. But this one is rather limited right now. So in fact, we are trying to evolve it to a level where it is more useful. So we'll not get into this app right now. What we use really is a very iterative approach to develop video scripts, right? Iterate them all very fast. So we usually got into a working session, which lasted usually less than an hour. And by the end of the hour, we would have some really uh, iterative, evolved scripts that we could start with, hand over to the video production team, and then sort of productionize it in collaboration with them. So that's the workflow. So why don't I start by showing you a couple of videos that are already live, that started this way, and then they have gotten into production. So there's an interesting, if you can see my screen, there's a set of markets video.
Do you want to sell to different regions without setting up multiple stores? Learn how to segment one store into different tailorable markets based on the locale. A locale is a combination of a language and country. For example, NUS represents English, United States. When a customer visits your store, they can choose their locale. Based on their selection, the store displays prices, promotions, and entitlements specific to their
The
market.
fact is, it is an interesting feature in Commerce Cloud, which is about segmenting customers into markets based on locale, and then creating markets, price books, entitlements, currencies, shipped to countries and locales based on that entire locale, right? So that's sort of the first use case that we targeted, and where it began was sort of uh, this is the one. So this is a help article. In fact, this is a help article, right?
Y-
And we have, a number of procedures here that customers can do, and it really, begins here. So it's a complex piece of help content, which also has nested content, nested pages, right? Now, at this point, the tool we use, Writer.ai, so we can give it this URL, but it does not have the capability to really parse all the nested pages within a help page, right? So that has been a challenge. So now for another feature, for example, there's a feature called Pay Now, right? That's the other video we did. Again, for that one, same challenge, right?
So you're
Yeah,
saying pasting the URL is not successful because if it has to kind of go off and go into sub nested topics, it's not good at that. So that's where we left off.
but yeah, the thing is, if you have a help page and multiple nested pages within that, so Writer.ai is right now not very good with doing that. Even ChatGPT isn't most of the times, right? So what we did was we took now many of the help pieces at Salesforce. They have a PDF version of the help as well available. So we took the help side of help, the PDF version of the help, right? And what we did was we opened it in uh, Acrobat, Adobe Acrobat, which is sort of an industry standard tool for working with the PDFs, and then what we did was we now again, so Writer is also not very good with parsing long PDFs. So it's not good with parsing, multi-level web pages. It's not good with parsing multi-level, PDFs or long PDFs, because PDF is a hard format to process, right? So what we did is we opened it in Acrobat, and we really just uh, said export a PDF and exported it as plain text, right? So plain ASCII text, right? And we saved it here. Now, interestingly, what happens with this one?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is how it comes out, which is not very human parsable, but Writer and AI tools do just fine with this, right?
That is so, I don't know what's so cool about that. That would not have dawned on me to take the PDF and convert it to plain text. That's brilliant.
Right. And yeah, it's a hard thing to imagine, but I worked with Adobe for 10 years. So now you see, right? So I was sort of accustomed to doing things this way. So that's how, yeah, experience, right?
No,
But
you're
yeah,
bringing
that's how.
you're bringing your experience to the problem, and this is very
Yes,
creative. So thank you. I will
yes.
shut up now. I want to hear it.
But yeah, I mean, so the thing is, as you work with AI, you'll hit two kinds of challenges. One is, yeah, I mean, how do I really create a prompt that is good enough to do things, right? Then you will have a challenge of iterating on that prompt to do the right thing. But before that, you'll actually have such tactical challenges. This tool doesn't work with, for example, Writer can work with this format very well, and Chat GPT can listen to videos and extract stuff out of it, while most tools like Writer cannot at this point, right? So you have to mix and match. And along the way, you'll also have to be very careful that anything you provide to these tools, which are not approved by your company, are is public information. So it must not be something that is release sensitive or which is not out there in the market. So we were like completely kosher in that sense. Everything we were working with was very, very public, right? So what we did was we went to Writer. I'm like showing you how things. We tried out things. So I'm showing you a set of prompts that we used for the source file that I just created. So, and the interesting part was we wanted our uh, output to be in a very specific form, which was fit to be consumed by the production team. So you see this tabular format here, right? So there's scene number. There's now this is something I added for my own reference. The production team doesn't need it, but there's an audio column which is about the voiceover text that is to be used for this particular video. There are actions and props and what is happening on the screen, right? And then there are comments. So this is the precise format which we wanted to create this video in, so that it was fit to be handed over to the production team, right? So the very first prompt I gave it was, so I had the pay now source text, which was the text file I just showed you, right? And I said, okay, from this source in the session, create a video script for video production team. Use this tabular format with 4 columns and generate the script so that the script is 4 minutes long. So we went to writer. I'm just showing you how it works out there, right? So uh, now you go there, pay now source.txt, and it's a very simple, small, sweet prompt. You attach a file, you go to the desktop, you take the text file, you attach it there. So there's a file here now, right? And you go. Now, if you look at writer, there are 3 modes here. So one is a general mode. The second is the document mode, and writer automatically shifted to document mode because we attached a document. You see it
Yeah.
here, right, in the
Yeah.
sources file. And then there's a knowledge graph mode, which is more advanced. We won't get into this that one in this session. But since it's a document mode, so it can read all this. It's a source file. You could also have pasted the PDF here, but in our experience, your mileage will vary when you do that. It doesn't really work very well, but it's still processing, and it will show you the output in a bit. And we told it exactly the output that we wanted. So I want to do this just one prompt live, and then we'll shift to the document because I want people to see, how it comes up here as a table.
No, I appreciate that. We're kind of seeing how the sausage is made, so to speak.
Exactly, exactly. So far we created a source file, we uploaded it, we gave a very simple prompt, and everything almost there. So while it happens, I think I'll shift back to the prompt side of things. Okay, the moment we put it in and the output came, which you'll see in a moment, we immediately saw a problem. Now, writer did not know what a 4 minute long video means,
Ah,
right? So the length that came up was rather random, right? So now I did a bit of research and I saw that hey, humans speak roughly 125 words per minute, right? So I gave it a follow-up prompt. I said that has to be longer. So rewrite it so there are 125 words per minute or 150, depends on how fast you want it to go. Make the total length close to 4 minutes. Then it gave us something which was usable, right? So if you see it here, it gave the 3 minute version here,
wow.
right? And I asked it to add some timestamps so that I could exactly know which screen was running from which minute and second to which minute and second, right? So if you see this one, it ends exactly at 3, right? Now, I also wanted a 4 minute version. So I said, please extend the video to 4 minutes so we can add more detailed examples or explanation or additional sections. And then it expanded it, bringing in more insight from the document and expanded everything to 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Now we wanted to do something really interesting. Now this was, we had a help article and we were converting it into a video script, right? But we also had a video demo from the marketing team, which was a rather salesy version of this feature, right? So what we did was we said uh, in the prompts, you see, right? So can you enrich the following video script with insights from the sales demo video here without making the script too salesy? Format as a table, right? And we could not do it in writer because writer doesn't know how to listen to videos. So we took our output from prompt 3 to chat GPT, used this prompt, took the enriched version of the script from chat GPT back into writer.
Wow. There are so many innovative approaches here. Like this is, yeah, this is there's so many innovations, and the innovations are in the way you interact and mix and match the AI engines as you've eloquently described. So this is fantastic.
Right. So then you got a sales demo enriched version from ChatGPT, which brought in those insights. So then Phyllis and Pratibha were the writers who I was working with on this one. Uh, so Phyllis is a very senior writer on our team. So then she worked her magic. She said, okay, I want a 2-minute video script. And also she noticed that in the scripts above, uh, writer was focusing too much on the link generation side of pay now, the feature, but not the setup side of it. So she had some alternate, follow-up prompts, and finally she created this version of the script, which we handed over to our video production team. So there was human magic at the end, and also human, uh, you know, supervision also.
It's just such a
Yeah,
great point that the human's ultimately responsible, and the human is the one who signs off on it and makes it production
absolutely,
ready, right? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And if you look at the version we want finally handed over, so this is the version that the video team has. It asks us for some additional information like, what is where can they access the org and login link and so on, but the format is here. And then there was back and forth. We were talked about screenshots. We talked about, the flow and everything. And finally, the video is now live.
Okay, that is awesome. Because I think there's so many innovations inside and the way you're working with the tools. It's really inspirational, Samart.
Thank you. And so we'll go back to writer to see what it has cooked up, and see it here. So it's giving you stuff exactly in the form of a table, right?
Yeah.
And it also talks about the thought process. Hey, what did I do? How did I check it out? That was our first attempt at this, which was rather raw. I mean, we were learning, but within 1 hour, right, 1 hour of a working session, we actually reached all the different iterations that I showed you. So all of these iterations, 3 minute, 4 minute sales demo, and so on, were reached within 1 hour of a working session. And then maybe it took a couple of hours more for Phyllis to clean up everything, coordinate with the team, and do those things. But I would hazard a guess that we didn't take more than 3 to 4 hours to create this entire scripting side of things for the video.
And versus what would you guesstimate or estimate that it would have taken without the help?
I would hazard at least 2 days.
Yeah. I would have
That-
guessed more than 2
Yeah.
days, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And-
these are painstaking projects, and for anybody who
Absolutely.
hasn't written a script, it's very painstaking and difficult.
Yeah. No, I'll go back to when I was working on design tools at Adobe and Photoshop, for example, Illustrator. We always used to talk about this blank canvas problem, right? We humans iterate better when you have a first draft rather than creating anything from scratch, because there's an initial friction to get started, right? And I think that's what AI takes away in a large measure also. And I want to take you to the other example, which was markets, right? This is the help article. This is the help article, right? Yeah. So the other use case was what Jyoti on my team and I worked on, and this was about markets in commerce, right? And this was a very useful, interesting use case again. So we started with this prompt. We said, I'm trying to create a video script 3 minutes long that gives commerce customers an overview of what a market is, how to set up a market. So you see the topic here, and how what they can do using it. In summary, here's the concept of a market. So we told AI exactly what a market meant, so which we took from the help article. Instead of standing up multiple stores, use one store and segment our customers into markets based on appeal and so on. Now, because we had learned from the previous example, we made the prompt more elaborate, more structured. So we said, while creating the video script, use insight from the document included in the sources, which was again a text file taken from the help article and uploaded to Writer. And then within that same prompt, we had a video script format where we said create the video script in a tabular format with the following columns: timestamp, screen number, timestamp, audio, action on screen, comments. And we also built into the prompt this time, assume that 1 minute of audio is 125 written words without having to go into a follow-up prompt to clarify this. Thus, make the script 3 minutes long. For the timestamp column, include the minute second to minute second between which the text in the audio column should run in the video. For instance, 125 to 210. Go, right? So it showed us this script, which was 3 minutes long, timestamped, and everything, right? But what we realized was that there was less conceptual information in the script than we wanted. So we wanted to have more conceptual information on what the market is, what the use case is, and what the benefits are. So it was jumping straight into the procedure. It was abrupt. So we gave it permission to make the video slightly longer than 3 minutes if it needed, but no longer than 4. Include conceptual information.
The conceptual information, just to elaborate a little bit, you tell me if I'm wrong, is if it's jumping too abruptly into the procedure, it's not giving you the background and the grounding and the why, right? Which we talk about all the time. So, okay, thank you.
Exactly. You nailed it. It was not giving us the why. It was straight away going into, here are the steps you need to follow to set up a market, right? And use the same format, go. Now, it gave us a rather, enriched version of the script. We were happy with it, but we said, that's better, but can you also include a real life use case of how a company can benefit from such a feature? Maybe a multi-country e-retail business. Assume a company of your own, for instance, Acme Retail Corp. Keep the video length the same format, go, right? So it brought us here. So if you see version 3, so it has conceptual information. It talks about, it imagines a company of its own called Acme Retail Corp. And it talks about how Acme can manage their global presence using this feature. Then it talks about, the procedural information, activating, and so on. And it made it 3 minutes and 45 minutes, 3 minutes and 45 seconds long. And it said, this script now includes a practical example of how a multi-country e-retail business can benefit from using markets. So that's where we got. And then we asked it. I mean, I like to talk to AI just like I talk to a child, right? Recently, I think somebody posted on an internal channel that talk to AI like you talk to a dog. I think that's a bit far-fetched, maybe a child, because if you look at AI research right now, AI is probably at the mental level of a 7-year-old child. So I like to think about it that way and talk to them. So I asked AI, okay, great. This last version, okay. So I asked AI, are you satisfied with the level of details in the above script? Is AI satisfied? Does it think it has included everything it needs, right? Would you want to make it longer to add any relevant bits that you couldn't because of the 345 length? If yes, regenerate to include those bits, even if you have to make the script a bit longer.
Wow.
And that led us to the 4th version of the script, which was 4 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Wow.
Right? And it included some more insights about B2B applications and details on operational benefits of marketing segmentation. Right?
Yeah.
Now that was version 4. The follow-up prompt said, great, but we still noticed some gaps. We said this last version doesn't have much of the procedural bits that you included in a very first video script you generated above. So the first one was very procedural.
Yeah.
Then we asked it to go more conceptual. So it went all conceptual. Now we were realizing that procedural bits were missing. So we said, could you mix and match? right? And that's where we gave it the next prompt, and it didn't get it right. So I said, not quite right. I like the very first script you created with some exceptions. So take these things and merge them into your current script. That's where we got version 5 script. To create a comprehensive video script that includes conceptual information, a real-life example, detailed procedural steps, and I'm integrating elements from both the initial and extended scripts. And this is AI speaking. This is AI's commentary on what it has done in version 5, right? So that's where this ended. And this we were like sort of satisfied with. And then we took it to version 6, which was human reviewed, human enriched, and then handed over to our video production team.
Oh my God. You know what I love about this? I love about it is it's the writer and the creator's responsibility to see the gaps, to understand where the gaps are.
Absolutely.
And it's inspiring that you're showing this is a tool. It can save a lot of time, but it's not the magic bullet. It's not push button, get finished. You have to work with it, but you still save a lot of time, right? But you have to work with it and be creative.
So I have some commentary on this, right? So this one, then there was a human reviewed version and all of that was taken care of. And then we handed it over to the video team, and then they did their magic. But a couple of things I learned along the way, right? See, this is absolutely not a magic bullet, right? But it will cut your time to get to a good first draft by 70%, 60 to 70%, right? Now, I think 2 days back there was this memo by the Shopify CEO about using AI in their internal company, right? And he said one thing which I resonate with. It is that people try out AI. If they don't get something in the first try or maybe second try, they give up. So in these working sessions, I usually the way things happen is that the first 30 minutes nothing is happening. I'm just creating the source file. I'm just trying to, set the tabular format. I'm just trying to look at the first version. And then the last 30 minutes, everything becomes magical because you have the first output and then, you know what is missing, you're iterating it. And I am sort of the conduit to doing these scripts, right? It's fine with the writers who know their subject. So if they were not in the room, I would not be able to do this. So I bring that resilience from an AI perspective in this entire process, while they are the real people who are looking at it and really enriching it, and they're also responsible for the accuracy of this entire script and the way it works, right? So that's my learning, that you need to persist. It is not a magic bullet, but all of these videos, the iterations you see, all of the iterations, even in this particular use case, were done in less than 1 hour.
That's incredible.
And then maybe 2 or more hours of handing over, cleaning up, enriching, and then you have the video. And here's how this final video came.
That is incredible. And the creative, you say persistence, but it's creative persistence because you're not just saying, oh, it can't read a PDF. It doesn't work. You found a way, you found a way, right? And you tried, and you didn't know that it might not be successful. Writer can't listen to a video. ChatGPT can. So if it's public information, you can use that.
There's one more example I want to show you, if that's fine.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. So the third one is rather recent, right? And it is not yet a final published video, but it is in the process of getting there. 90% there, I would say. So this one was interesting, right? So you see, in commerce, we have this challenge that uh, commerce is a complex product, right? So what it means is that there are three products within the commerce umbrella. One is called commerce B2B. One is called commerce B2C. One is called commerce D2C, right? Now these are very cryptic names for our customers, right? So typically, customers wouldn't know what is what, right? So we wanted to create just one video which told people which version of commerce they were using, right? Whether they are using B2B or they are using B2C or D2C, right? So that was the entire the brief, right? And on the versions you have seen so far, what has happened is that we had a help article, and that help article was the brief from for AI to create the video. But this one is slightly different because I'll tell you why. We had a help article in each of the earlier cases. In this case, I just had a brief from my content strategist, Laurie, right? Laurie Adams. And she sent me a Slack message. She said, that our customers are getting confused about which Salesforce commerce product we have, right? So I used that brief as such to inform the prompt, the first prompt, right? Detailed prompt, as you can see. Again, we did prompt format, a number of words, and so on. And the first version was not very good, so I had to re-instruct it to format in the right format. But uh, after a couple of tries, it got the idea of what we were trying to do, and it created a rather nice sort of example of how we can help customers know which version of commerce product they are using, and all from a detailed Slack message.
Okay, that's amazing. So you took a Slack message and you got the script from a content strategist Slack message saying, we have a need to explain, help users figure out which version you're using.
Yes, I think this is the third use case that we worked on. And as you can see, we had a detailed prompt, or I created a detailed prompt. Again, a 3-minute video is what I wanted. I told it that customers get confused between different flavors of Commerce Cloud, and they don't know whether they have B2B or D2C or B2C. And we will embed this video in the help article that we are trying to write for this topic. And I asked it to use insights from both the documents, including the sources. So there was this detailed prompt that our content strategist did, and there was one trailhead article that we later added. So it processed all of this, and the first try it made was not very promising. The tabular format was broken and things like that. So I had to give it a follow-up prompt where it gave me a rather interesting script, right? So which I also asked it to give me a 2-minute script. So it condensed it into a 2-minute duration, which is the second script that we had. And I was trying it also because Salesforce Go typically has 2-minute videos. So anything that we want to do with Salesforce Go, we need to do within 2 minutes. So that's another way you can think about these prompts and alter them, or you can adapt them for Salesforce Go purposes also. Just need to give the right instructions. So yeah, but in this case, we handed over the 3-minute version to our video team. Then we had a couple of conversations about what we wanted. And this video is also going to be live in the next couple of weeks. It's almost there, 90%.
And it all started with a Slack post. So that's terrific. Terrific. Okay. Inspiring.
Yes, it's from our content strategist, Laurie. She does very detailed Slack posts when she needs to.
Well, obviously, it was a good, well-written post, because the AI had very little trouble. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this, Samartha. And I know you're staying up late, so it's much appreciated. And we'll get this out as quickly as we can.
But thanks for having me, Stan. Really, pleasure talking to you as always. And I hope this is useful to our broader CM.